Welcome to Talking Business and Life with Claudio Relsano and Steve Mancini. Claudio and Steve will share their business and life experience to help you grow your business and improve your life. Here's Claudio and Steve.
Good evening and welcome to Talking Business and Life. I am your co-host, Steve Mancini, and as always, I am joined by...
Claudio Relsano. Steve, always great to be with you.
And Claudio, I just made my first error, and I jumped right to our guest. There she is right there. And I'm going to come back to Claudio, and I'm going to come back to me. I'm telling you, this multitasking thing is
And you're doing, I told you, I
got to work the machine over here. I got to work the board, and then I've got to pretend like I'm paying attention to everything that's going on.
You're doing good.
But Claudio, before we kind of jump into our guest, because we actually have a guest in studio, which I always prefer. How was your weekend?
It was good. It was good. It was good. Still Chuck Daly, bad eyesight, poor memory, and lousy hearing. But I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. There's always something, it was good. I was at an event at Point Park with Dr. Hall. I was brought in to speak to the students about leadership, things like that, about my career and all that. And I really enjoy doing that. And hopefully having some impact on the kids is something that I'm looking to do more of. But it was a good weekend. It was nice.
By the way, I want to give you a shout out for your book. And for the folks that are paying attention here, this is not a shameless plug. Claudio literally gives me, if you know anything about Claudio, he is not giving anything away. God bless you, buddy. But I was reading your book last week, and I actually liked it. I actually had some...
You sound surprised. He sounds surprised.
Let's go to Claudio for a second. Hey, Claudio. No, it was actually, but I mean, it was good because, look, I'll be honest, having done this now with you for years, I know a lot of what you stand for, your kind of words of wisdom, cliches, picking on you a little bit. But there were things in the book that I actually liked the way you said it. And I'm telling you, the one thing that is standing out for me is that 50,000 people say something stupid, it's still something stupid.
Thing.
So I loved that. So
Good. I appreciate it. Yeah, I enjoyed writing it. It kind of flowed. And it was all just experiences, life coaching experiences, the good, bad, and the ugly. Went through a few things, but if I didn't go through those things, no book.
Well, you know what? I think somebody, when I was walking in, I'm pointing over to her, made a comment about if you don't make stupid decisions, like, what was it? Life wouldn't be fun.
Well, it wasn't my stupid decisions. It was stupid decisions made by other people that I had to put up with.
But I do want to give a shout out because this weekend, and this is, I would be remiss if I didn't say this before I forget. I want a shout out to the West Virginia Italian Heritage Festival. They invited little old me to come down and be a judge for their Italian Singer of the Year contest, which will be announced over the next few months because if you're paying attention to this, you can actually go vote online. So the judges are half of it, and the other half is people going online. So they recorded the performances, and you can go down there and go online and vote for them. Great performances. Had a couple of people from that were on American Idol, obviously from West Virginia, that were there. Fantastic singers. Now, and I'll tell you what, the one thing that I took away from that was when you hear a really good singer, and I mean somebody that is can make it to a national level, and you hear them up close, you realize how much talent those people really have. Because not saying that the people we were judging didn't have talent, because some of them, the tools were there. It's just, you got to just work on some things. But the talent was there. But when you meet someone that has perfected that talent, and again, this will start even in sports, a good analogy, there are a lot of good athletes. But when you meet someone that's at that level, and knows how to use it, you realize how truly talented and special that person is.
Right.
So
I agree.
Claudio, we have a guest in studio, and she brought memorabilia, and the most important thing was she brought food for us. So we would be absolutely remiss if we didn't, we had to give you some time, Fran. It's all we can do.
Just a minute or two, really.
So without further ado, let us welcome Fran Tunno, who's an author.
Yeah.
You are a voiceover actress. I'm going right to you on the camera, but you are a voiceover actress and author. You lived in LA for a bunch of years, did a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But what's cool is you have some good memorabilia. But before we even get there, Fran, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's really good to be with you guys.
All right, thanks folks for coming, and we'll see you back. Fran, let's start off a little bit about you. I kind of gave them the big high level, the 30,000 foot. Tell me a little bit about your background.
Oh, good Lord. I grew up in New Brighton, Pennsylvania, like a good Italian girl. girl, I went to Clarion and had to fight to get there because, that was an hour and a half away. And Italian parents don't like it when their daughters go away.
Wait, did you say Clarion?
Clarion University.
No. But I mean, for Italian, was that something Italians didn't go to or did go? Oh,
No,
It's an hour and a half away.
it was just the hour and a half away that was the problem.
Hence the fighting to get into Clarion.
Yeah, because
Okay.
my brothers had to come home and actually fight for me to be able to go to a college an hour and a half away.
They were like, don't worry, there's nothing to do up here. She'll be fine.
Exactly.
Well, the groundhog is up there.
Yeah, well, he's near Punxsutawney.
Right.
It's about a half hour from Clarion. So yeah, anyway, I went to Clarion and then worked as a sales rep for a few years here, and then said, you know what, I think Los Angeles sounds really fun because I had a friend who lived there and knew a girl who needed a roommate, and I thought, yeah. I majored in education because my parents wanted me to be a teacher. If I had to go to college, I needed to be a teacher. So after student teaching, I said, dear God, I'll kill myself if I have to teach. I taught second grade and 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th and just said, no. I felt trapped, and I always wanted to be a writer. And so I moved to LA and went to UCLA Extension and took a bunch of classes there and got a professional designation in journalism and then started writing and that's really what I wanted to do. And then I got into radio. I was on the air in LA for 12 years. I did morning news and traffic.
I thought I recognized the voice. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah,
Hey,
right.
what years were you in LA?
I was in LA from 1981 till 2010, and then I came here for a couple of years and then went back from 2012 to 2021.
Now, when were you on the radio? There's
I
a
was
give a damn because I lived
yeah.
in Southern California for a bunch
Did
of
you?
years.
I
Yeah.
was on the radio from 1990 until 2001, I think.
So yeah, I was there during that time.
Yeah.
I was stationed down in San Diego.
Okay.
There
So
you go.
there's
You might have
quite-
heard me.
That's what I'm saying.
did a
I thought I
bunch
knew
of
the
radio-
voice.
I did a
Who
bunch
is that
of
lady
radio
on the
stations.
voice?
Yeah. I used to be on with Charlie Tunno. He
Yeah.
was on KLAC. He did standard swing and big band.
Oh my goodness! I do
Yeah.
remember the name.
We
See, I'm
won-
not crazy. I
won-
was there for I was there from '96 to 2000. I
Yeah,
left in
yeah.
early 2000.
Yeah, we won some Orange County Register voted us like the top radio show. I was like, oh my God, really?
In LA, that's like,
Yeah, that was
not bad.
amazing. Well, it was the Orange County Register. It wasn't the LA Times, but still, I was
Even
happy.
better than it was real.
Exactly. I ran with it.
Now you said your parents wanted you to be in education.
Yeah,
what
they
did
wanted
you
me
want
to
to
be
do?
a teacher. I wanted to be a journalist. I wanted
Okay,
to
from day one?
do news.
Okay.
Yeah, I always thought news was interesting. I thought, ooh, I'll be a consumer reporter. That'd be kind of badass, But I just
Instead, you're doing the morning news with
Yeah,
Charlie
I know,
Tuna. But that's
morning news
okay.
with
But you
Charlie.
were voted the best show by the Orange County Register.
When you left and you started doing journalism
Mm-hmm.
and radio and things like that, what did they say? Were they happy
You
with
know
it?
what? They were just like, hey, if you can make money doing that, more power to you.
It always does go back to that with the
Yeah,
Italians.
yeah.
We know the comedian Sebastian Maniscalco.
Yeah.
His dad, they asked him one time, what do you think about your son being a famous comedian? He went like this.
Yeah.
It's all, and really, say what you
Yeah.
want. I said this at that speaking event I was at last week. They said, you must love coaching and love, speaking. I said, I like going to the bank because I can go, you go to the, pay your electric bill. Hey, I coach. That's great. Give me some money. At the end of the day, you have to make a buck. So I understand where the Italians come from, and they worked. Everybody works hard. I know that.
Yeah.
I'd like to challenge that.
But the Italians do turn it up a little
Oh,
bit
the work
more.
ethic in
Yeah,
our
the work
family
ethic,
was
yeah.
nuts. I mean, the most important thing was that I had grandchildren. I mean, let's get our priorities straight here, guys. It was grandchildren first, and if you can throw in a little bit of work, that's fine. You can do that. So yeah, I worked. I got up at like 3:30 in the morning, and I was on the air from 5 until 9, and then I'd come home so I could be with my kids all day, and that was what I did. And when I started out, before my kids were born, I worked from 5 to 9, and then I worked from 9 to 5 as a producer. So yeah, I was just, it was all about trying to make a buck and make my parents proud.
Well, you were in the real world too. You were in LA. I mean,
I
wow,
know.
Look at you.
Well, you had to work at least 2 jobs,
To pay the rent.
To pay the
Can you
rent,
imagine it now? How bad it is?
My son still lives there. I do know how bad it is. Ugh.
Because we don't want people to think you just left here, went to college, and got a job. what were
Yeah.
some of the struggles, obstacles you had to overcome to eventually be on the air, because it's not easy.
Well, you know what? It wasn't too bad. It's funny. I was dating a guy who I ended up marrying, and I was talking to the girl who lived next door to him, and I said, "Oh, I'm taking these voiceover classes. They're really fun. I think I found what I really like to do." And she said, "Oh, you know what? I work and I do traffic on the radio. Maybe you should do an audition tape for us." And I'd never done an audition tape for anybody. I don't know what to do. And so she showed me, had me listen to some things, and I put something together. I'm sure it sounded like crap.
But there you were on the LA radio.
They
Yeah,
hired
it worked.
me.
It
They
worked.
hired me, and I worked for them for a couple of years, and then they were able to hire somebody who was $2 an hour cheaper, so they went with her.
Back to money.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, said you did voiceover. What did you do voiceover with?
I did voiceover work for a bunch of people. See, I wrote, after I was done with doing news and traffic, I wrote radio commercials, and I worked for a group of stations, the Salem Communications. They're a big organization. They have a lot of Christian radio stations.
Salem Radio. We have
Yeah.
it here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
I have a
yeah.
show on 12:50 a.m. The Answer.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you? Yeah. Well, I wrote for them. I worked for them for 5 years, and then let me think, what with the recession, that ended that career, and then
Which one?
Yeah, that was the copywriting career. But what was great there was that I could write commercials, for me, for my kids, and I just call the kids, "Come on in, I've got a commercial." I mean, I did bunches of. I've voiced thousands of commercials, and then I worked for iHeartMedia from 2016 till 2020, when of course the pandemic ended that career. It's really great when national crises end your career.
I did a voiceover tape.
Yeah.
Anyways, Claudio, your turn.
I did one for an insurance company one time, and yeah, I enjoyed
So
it.
so
I
I
bet it
got
was great.
I got a call back on one.
We did a commercial together for
That's
a,
right.
TV.
That's
cool.
But I actually did got a call back on one, and they ended up not doing the project.
Oh.
That's what I said.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
One thing about all three of us is we do a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
Did you have that in mind growing up, or like some people? I know one person in particular. He's been with this one job, same job,
Yeah.
for years, and I mean years.
Wow.
Which is fine. He's doing
Yeah.
great. Me, I couldn't do that. I
Me
like doing
either.
different things.
Me
So when
too.
did you know that was who you were?
Probably when I started taking the voiceover classes, because I thought, traffic is fun and this is really cool, but I want to do something else, and I always really liked the idea of broadcasting and being on the air, and I thought, well, that'd be fun. And I also love cartoons, and I thought, oh my God, if I could do like ridiculous voices.
Did you
that
do a
would be
voiceover for a cartoon?
I did. Well, no, I did. What was my name? I was a cat. What was Lucky Cat? He
What was
was
the
a
cartoon?
12-year-old boy, and he kind of sounded like that, and he was really tough, and that kind of,
Hey, whatever pays the bills. You do.
That's good though. That
Yeah,
was
Lucky
good.
Cat. Yeah,
Wow, that's pretty neat.
it was fun. I mean, it was fun. If people pay you to do a voice, you'll do a voice.
That's it. I'll do it. I don't want to say I'll do anything for money, but let's just say the list is very long, or let's say short of what I won't do.
I'm with you.
We'll try to keep it respectable
That's
today,
right.
people, yeah.
We're our PG-13.
Yes,
So,
yes,
Send
that's
the young ones out of the room. All right, Fran, let's talk about some of the swag that you've brought in today.
Yeah.
All right,
Swag,
let's
yes,
talk about
yes.
it. What do you
Well,
got? What's the story behind it?
let's
We're going to
see.
get to the book
Okay.
last
Yeah,
because
okay.
we are
All
going
right.
to talk
Well,
about
don't worry.
the
I
book.
was reaching for the implements of torture. These were the things. This very similar. The melted handle is
I
my
was going to
favorite.
say, yeah. I've done
Because
that a few times.
when my mother would cook,
What are you
she
serving with plastic?
she didn't pay attention. She just put it down, and if it was too near the fire, it looked, it ends up looking very gnarly and
Yeah,
sinister, But these were the things she'd chase you with. There was her favorite one, which I don't know what happened to, was kind of an oval shape, and it had tiny little circular holes in it, for draining pasta. But it would leave a really nice
I was
impact.
going to say, and you get it's like the whip speed
Yeah,
because
yeah.
now there's less resistance on
Yeah,
that sucker,
exactly. You
so-
got a good design on your
Those
arm
two rows
afterwards.
sounds
It was
like-
great. So I just wanted to bring those and show you that, I
You
managed
can still
to
hit
survive
people
it.
with melted.
You
Okay,
can,
got it.
you can. I have, let me see, what else do I have? I have a picture of my mother as Miss Beaver County.
Ah, what year is that from?
Sweet, 1936. 1930. My mother was 42 years old when she had me. I'm really only 19. I've lived a very hard life.
Well, you look young, so you're doing fine.
Right. But I just brought pictures of my mom and my dad and Bob Barker, of course, because he's a central.
Be sure to have your pet spayed and neutered. Yeah. I still remember that.
I know. A picture of my mother slicing prosciutto at the meat slicer, because that was
Hold
what
that
she
up
did.
to the camera so folks can see. There you go.
She would, as soon as somebody walked in the door,
That's
bam,
awesome.
she was downstairs at the meat slicer, slicing salami
Isn't
or
that what
prosciutto
they
or
all do?
whatever.
Again,
Always.
Italians, you as soon as you get to the house, coffee, food,
Oh, yeah.
cookies.
Absolutely.
And I saw the table on your website.
Oh, yeah.
No room to eat.
No.
I mean, it's just there's food, but you don't have a dish. Just
No.
all kinda- it's
And
great.
then here, she would sit across the table from anyone who happened to be visiting, and she'd watch you. And if you didn't eat an amount that she found sufficient, she'd say, "What's the matter? Don't you like my food?"
And then you would go into the little cat voice and say, "No, I don't like your food."
Oh no, I could never say that, but I had to. My best friend was Carolyn, and Carolyn had a very tender stomach, and so she couldn't eat a lot of spaghetti sauce and things, and and I had to just say, "Ma, just leave her alone. She's okay. You're gonna want to make her sick." Oh no, God forbid. So yeah. Anyway, and then this is one of my favorite photographs, which is it's a double-sided frame. Bob Barker is on one side, that's his headshot. The other side is my two brothers running in the Great Race. So Bob Barker actually apparently became family at one point
Now,
after my mother.
when you
was
say
on the show.
family, because we're going to show the tag here in a second,
Mm-hmm.
did she know him beyond the show?
No. That's what's so
Okay,
funny.
This is. Wait a minute, hold on, let me do it this way.
Yeah, she was convinced that, being on the show, Bob wanted her to be on the show. That was it. He wanted her to be on the show.
Like, tell us the whole story,
Oh, God.
because you have the pictures of Bob Barker, you have
I
the
do.
the tag.
I do.
Okay, it's all yours. How did that start?
Well, when I was, the show started in the 70s. I think it started airing Bob Barker on The Price is Right. I think it was 1970 that it started. Wow. Yeah, I
didn't realize
know.
it was that. I knew it was the 70s. I didn't realize you went back that
And
far.
so my mother just loved the show. She'd watch it every day. From 11 o'clock to noon, you couldn't walk in the room. My father called it the holy hour. And so, she just started talking about it. And I remember one night in particular, she had card parties. She and her Italian lady friends had card parties. And she was talking about The Price is Right. Now, she thought she'd not be on someday, and she'd really like that. And one lady in the card club said, "And what makes you think you have a chance?" And oh, man.
Game on.
Oh, dear God. The Neapolitan revenge gene was plugged in and ready to go. And
I show you.
That's right. How dare she say that to me? She was so ticked. So eventually we ended up, I moved to LA. And I had to convince my mother that it was the right thing to do. And, my mother's mopping the floor, crying, and all upset. "Well, you can't believe it. What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Ma, come on. It's not like the end of the world. It's just California. It's, I'm not going to Mars." And she was inconsolable, mopping and crying and mopping and crying. And finally I went, "Ma, if I move to LA, I can order tickets and you can be on The Price is Right."
Go now.
It was as if the tears backed up into the tear ducts. She stops, she looks at me and she goes, "Really, Francie, you think I have a chance?" And that was it. I mean, night and day, from tears to really? It was amazing. I just thought, wow. That was a stroke
I was going to
of
say, I
genius.
knew Bob Barker was going to come into that story at some point. It
A
was like,
stroke of genius on my part. And then after that, she was totally fine with me. It was like, "Okay, go now."
So eventually she did. Go ahead, continue the story. Go ahead.
Eventually, she and my parents, I moved in October, and the following June they came out to visit me in LA. And I had ordered tickets ahead of time because I knew this was what she wanted to do. And we get into the studio audience, and I don't want to give away the ending, but I will say that she gets called up and they yell, Mary Tunno, come on down, which was the incorrect pronunciation. And my mother was a large woman, so, you know, I was like, oh, okay, well, whatever. She didn't care. She was just, she was just like, they beat the me. You know, she was so excited.
What year was that?
This was 1982.
Because there's a darn good chance I was watching that. Because we had the same. I grew up with my grandma, and that was funny. You said 11 to 12.
Yeah.
It would, no matter what you're doing, change a channel.
My mom was born in Italy. She came here. You know, I used to speak to her in English, but I was still a baby. She learned how to speak English. Let's Make a Deal, Newlywed Game, and Price is Right.
Oh, Price, that's so
and soap operas and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's so funny. I love that. Well, anyway, she gets up on stage, and I'm, you know, and with my mother, who was always interesting, you couldn't leave people alone with my mother for very long because she'd always say something that was going to just make my hair, you know, stand on end, and I'd just go, oh God. And so she gets up on stage, and he says, well, Mary, so nice to see you. And he says, where are you from? And she can't think of where she's from, you know. She says, Beaver County, I think she said. I can't remember now. And he says, so what brings you out here? And then she finally, you know, gets her act together, and she says, well, I come because my daughter says, Ma, you want to be on The Price is Right. I'm going to move there so you can be on The Price is Right, which was a complete reversal of what I had said. But, you know, my mother was a woman who knew to take every opportunity for publicity for her daughter and just jump on it, you know. I don't know, maybe she wanted maybe she wanted some producer to see me on TV and know I was that good a person, so he would have to cast me.
So I'm going to leap of faith at that point. Then they pan the camera back to you, and you're like, "Oh, hey!"
I'm just sitting there like this, going, "Oh God, no! Oh God, no!" Bob Barker made me stand up and said, did you really move to California so your mother could be on The Price is Right? And what was I going to do? Yeah. You know, the nuns taught me. Yeah. The nuns taught me in school, don't lie. You're going to go to hell if you lie. Yeah. And so I get up and I stand there and I said, and he goes, that's all I needed to know, you know, because I knew my mother would kill me and the nuns would be so disappointed. So, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back after this.
Ciao, Chrissy. Your Italian got so much better. Brava.
Grazie. It's because I learned the best way possible.
How so?
Well, I learned that with apps, grammar books, and even YouTube videos, I could only get so far. I had to immerse myself. I noticed I did best when I was in Italy visiting family. That's where my level really soared.
And wow, did it work?
Thanks. I became much more confident, fast. That's why I created Footsteps Through Time. It's an Italian language experience. You don't just take Italian classes, you immerse yourself in a real Italian village. With lots of fun activities and excursions, it's life-changing.
I see. So, no more boring grammar, impersonal apps, just real conversations, real culture, and delicious food, of course.
Exactly. I'm so excited about this. Learn Italian by actually becoming part of the local community for a week and living it. So if you've been dreaming of Italy and the language, check out Footsteps Through Time in Italy.com. Book now and join the experience.
Andiamo!
Thanks to Greater Pittsburgh Travel. For any of your travel needs, let Tom and the team at Greater Pittsburgh Travel know, and they'll take care of you. For more information, call 412-331-2244 or visit their website at www.greaterpittsburghtravel.com. And we want to thank the Calabria Club of Pittsburgh. If you're interested in learning more, you can find their contact information on Facebook at Calabria Club of Pittsburgh. Again, thanks Domenica and the team at the Calabria Club of Pittsburgh for your support.
Hello, everyone. My name is Claudio Relsano, and I am the author of the book, Lead from the Heart Up, Not the Neck Up, How to Create a Positive Winning Culture on the Field and in the Office. My years as a head baseball coach and a general manager of a pro baseball scouting company, I know that my leadership experiences that I've included in this book will help you become a better leader. You can get the book at ClaudioRelsano.com. Speaking of ClaudioRelsano.com, you can listen to my show, The Claudio Relsano Show, where I've interviewed such legends as Mario Andretti, Dick Vermeil, Rocky Blyer, and many, many others. And I also have an entrepreneurial program there talking about my entrepreneurial experiences. So hopefully that'll help you, and hopefully you will enjoy that. And also, Sports Corner, hosted by Ralph Williams, co-host with myself, Jim Frazier, and Luther Dupree Jr. We appear on 92.5 FM, 1250 AM, The Answer, Salem Radio, every Saturday here in Pittsburgh, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. I hope you enjoy the show. I hope you enjoy all the shows, and I hope you enjoy my book.
We'd also like to thank Chris Gonzalez from the Knights of Columbus. If you have any questions about joining the Knights of Columbus, reach out to Chris Gonzalez at 412-605-9074. All right, welcome back. All right, Fran.
Yes. All right. I'm
going to you on the camera as you drink water. Good. Perfect. Perfect. Do not edit that. All right. All right. Now let's talk about the book and what is in the frame. I want the frame. What's in the frame?
Oh, in the frame.
Come on.
This is the book.
We're gonna get to the book because you're gonna go more into the book. But I'll do the frame, then we'll do the book.
Frame. This is
I want to go on record as saying Fran wins our most prepared, and I don't know what the award is for bringing the most
right here
stuff. That's right.
The most crap. I've got to. Okay, yeah. Here's the award.
Okay, put the award up.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So
what
much.
is that for?
I brought my own award. This is for winning Miss Beaver County.
Oh my God, for your mom. So that's a 1930.
She was 1936.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is her. She was Miss Beaver County.
That is awesome that you saved that.
There you
That
go.
is wonderful.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
that is
okay.
wonderful.
What sponsored by Sons of Italy, 1070. And I always thought, well, wait a minute,
Are they still around?
The Sons of Italy, Rochester, BA. I think the Sons
of Italy still. I'm a member of the. I'm the one in Sewickley.
Yeah.
You go?
I was just there Saturday.
Really?
They had Scopa.
Okay.
Oh, do you
Claudio needs to go.
Here, you play. What is Scopa? That's a card game, right?
That's an Italian card
Yeah,
game.
yeah. My mother used to play it. My father wouldn't play with her. He said, "You cheat. I'm not going to play with you."
And then she's doing it right. Anyways.
Anyway, in this frame is a note that my mother wrote me on a napkin that apparently she mailed to Los Angeles. And it says, "Francis, I love you. Write to me when you can and let me know how you are getting along. Love you, Mother."
Oh.
That's nice.
I love that.
That is very nice.
There's like little spots on it.
I thought I was going to say, Francis, tell me when you get the tickets for the show.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I probably have. I have every letter she ever wrote me.
Wow.
I know.
That's nice, though.
It's fun.
I mean,
it's fun
nice.
to read them.
Let me ask you, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you about that. And I'll tell you why. There's kind of a weird tie-in. So not too long ago, I got some old videotapes and moved them over to video, digital, so I can watch them. And I watched them. And some of them are maybe like almost 25 years old. And there's some
of your parents?
there's some people on there that are dead now.
Aw.
And when I watched that, I was like torn. Do I want to watch this or do I not want to watch this? So I'm going to ask both of you. I'm going to start with you, and then I'm going to go to you, Fran, because this is an interesting one. Because Claudia, I know you're very close with your parents, and Fran, obviously, you're at least close with your mom.
Oh, yeah. I was
don't know
close
about
with
your
both
dad.
of my
Okay,
parents.
all right, but she
loved
shouldn't really mention it. Yeah, we're going to leave it at that. All right. So let me ask you guys a question. When you see something, an old picture or something, how does it make you feel? Like, do you like, I want to put it down and I don't want to think about it, or what do you think? I'll start with you.
Great question.
It better be.
It was. When my mom passed in 88, my dad in 04, there were certain pictures I could look at, certain ones I couldn't. Then once I got used to them, I was okay. Now, video-wise, we have a ton of my dad because we had a video recorder, and he was with my daughter, and those were very special. Yeah. My mom, we have one video of her with some family friends. They had a wedding at their home, and there's my mom cooking, and that was just who she was.
Sure.
And it's nice to see that. Now, I do have a recording. My parents bought me a tape recorder in 1975, Christmas, and my dad didn't know he was on. And he was cussing up a storm in Italian. How does this work? And he was saying all kinds
Son of a bitch, and this is stupid thing.
He was saying it in Italian.
It's so much better in Italian.
Yeah. But he was very, and then, but then he said, okay, now it's working. But he didn't know it was working. And then they
was like,
nice,
good morning, how are you? After like, hello, how are you? My name.
But they gave me a nice Christmas message, which I turned to a CD. Now listen to it still breaks me up. Then you can hear me later on.
Yeah.
So certain pictures I can see. Now I can see them all. But videos still make me sad.
Oh.
Still make me sad. And when I listen to that recording, it breaks me up every time.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to ask you a follow-up on that. But Fran, let's hear you. What do you think?
Oh, I love it.
Really?
We were at my brother's house for Christmas, and they played a videotape from Christmas of 1988. My mother's in there singing and dancing, and my uncle shows up, and she and my mom, he and my mom are singing and dancing. It was great. I love seeing that. I love seeing them at their, I don't know, in their element, doing what they love doing. It was, I don't know, I really enjoy it. We all had the best time seeing that. It was like they were back again. So I don't know, I don't get sad. I just relive how fun it was to have them around.
Well, because I'm going to ask you now, is that I don't know, I don't think it's dwelling, but is it, I know this is going to be a strange question, but is it healthy to go back like that?
Like it is healthy. I think it's good as long as it doesn't bring you down.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can watch videos and like even talking about my dad with my friends. Now we can make jokes and stuff like that. At the time, though, when it was still fresh, no. But now that it's been 22 years, I can see videos and it's fun. I just wish there was even more. My mom, she passed when she was only 48. I love watching that video and listening to her voice. Listening to her voice really. But it still gets to me though.
It was funny because I didn't even remember filming these, and that's why there was some stuff on there. I'm like, I didn't even remember that. So there are people that I thought I'd never, for lack of a better term, see.
Sure.
Like
the crazy thing now, those things, I don't know what it's called. My cousin's really good with tech stuff. That you can take a picture of somebody and they can move.
Oh, they turn to AI.
Can blink.
I know.
Oh, I've seen that. That kind of creeps me
I don't.
out.
I'm not sure if I
that.
like that.
He sent me that when I was holding him. He was a little baby, and I said, "Damn, there." And then you can see my dad. Yeah, that was a little.
Because that creeps me out.
Well, when I was in Italy, they did this thing, and it was nice, and I appreciated it. And it was my grandfather, and they didn't really tell me what they were going to do. And they was like, "Oh, do you have a picture of your grandfather?" Well, I only had one picture.
Yeah.
And it was like a few months before he died, so he had cancer. So he looked sick, but it was like he was celebrating his birthday, and you could see in his face, like you knew.
Yeah.
And they took that and turned it into one of the AI videos where he's talking, and I'm like, oh,
wow.
no.
Did it sound like him? Were they able to
No,
get
because
the voice?
they didn't have a voice of him. They didn't have a voice sample. And though they can do it now with voice sample. I'm used to enough AI with people talking. Like, come on. I mean, but this is a very deep conversation because now you get into what is the benefit to society to simulating or emulating people that are long dead. Like what good is that? Like how does that help you? Short of, hey, we're gonna do George Washington and we're gonna pretend like it's George Washington
commercials and stuff like that.
But I mean, but even then, it's like, I don't want to see a fake I don't want to see a fake Elvis Presley on stage.
My dad hated that.
Yeah.
Elvis Presley?
No,
Oh.
loved Elvis. No.
What?
He loved Elvis. Did not like the fake Elvises and all that because it cheapens it.
Right.
So my dad would have been with you.
Oh, you mean the Elvis impersonators?
Oh,
I
see.
Are you sure they were fake, Claudio?
But not only the impersonators, but the over the top way that they over exaggerate.
Yeah.
It was disrespectful. Right. My dad always
No,
thought.
I did. I can actually understand that. I actually can see that.
Yeah.
I saw it more as humorous, but see, you got to be careful because some people get into the role and you're like, hey, but you're not Elvis.
Yeah.
Oh, they take it for real.
Yeah, they lose it.
They're actually in Vegas doing shows.
Right.
I wouldn't go see them, but
Yeah.
What's
I
the
just
point?
saw the Elvis movie the other night. It was just
it was
3 or 4 days
Okay,
ago.
was that real footage?
That was real
Yeah,
footage.
it's
That
real.
was
Is it good?
Elvis. If you're an Elvis fan, you're gonna love it. I mean, I grew up thinking Elvis was okay, but he was before my time, and so I was more of a Beatles fan. But I appreciate Elvis so much more now than I ever did when I was
All right,
young.
question: Were you pre-drug Beatles or post-drug Beatles?
Oh, I'm 70 right now, so I'm pretty old. So the Beatles came out in 1963. I was 7 years old, maybe. Yeah. And so, I was through the whole Beatles thing. I mean,
I hate to say it. I hate to say it. I did not like their early stuff.
oh no. Yeah.
I liked it when they became more rock.
I liked Wings better.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
No, there's
Yeah,
a few good Beatles songs.
No, I believe
doubt.
you. I liked their
I like
later
Wings.
stuff.
Yeah.
I love Paul McCartney and Wings.
Yeah. I liked Beatles 65. I liked Revolver. I liked their middle stuff. But I also like the end stuff too. And I love George Harrison. I just thought George Harrison
Let me
was so
ask-
talented.
I think he was the most talented.
Yeah,
I hate to
well-
say it. I think Paul McCartney and him were. I still think John Lennon.
Yeah.
We're gonna blow. I'm a heretic. I think he was overrated. And I
I
think
loved
Ringo's
him.
star is
He was
just rode the
overrated.
he rode the coattails of the three talented
Smart.
guys. Yeah.
He's a terrific drummer,
I
though.
want to ask you. Steve and I talk about it in sports. I'm 61.
A puppy.
But sports isn't the same. The personalities are nowhere near that I grew. Joe Namath.
Yeah.
You know, I can go on and on.
Yeah.
Nowhere near. But it's not as fun to watch. The music isn't. You know, you talk about Elvis and his voice. I love Barry Manilow, Lionel Richie, Engelbert
Yeah.
Humperdinck, Jeffrey
Yeah.
Osborne. I can go on and on. Today, in your business, did you find that those people were better then than they are now? More personnel. You mentioned Charlie Tuna.
Yeah.
Who's like remember Wolfman Jack? Who's similar to that
Yeah.
now?
They don't do that kind of stuff
They don't
no
do that
more.
kind
Well, Ryan
Casey
Seacrest.
Kasem.
Ryan Seacrest was
Eh,
pretty big.
There's not. To
Yeah,
me,
but
Ryan
big.
Seacrest is
but-
like everybody
but-
else.
Right, but what makes them unique, though?
Right, there you go,
Because
Steve.
I think that
Yeah.
because
That's
you know
what I'm
what,
saying.
a perfect example is Wolfman Jack.
Yeah.
Remember he was in what was
Voice,
the, what was
the
the
He was
the
in
70s?
American Graffiti.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was such a character, but he was who he was.
Unique.
Yeah.
That's
Nowadays,
what I mean. That's the word.
the problem now is I think they're trying to, the ones that are trying to be, out there are just more like shock versus,
Yeah, I'm not into the shot.
yeah, there's just no characters.
Yeah.
Like you said, Ryan Seacrest. To me, he's like tap water. That's just me.
Yeah, he's
That's
just not.
me.
Yeah, I don't.
He doesn't stand out. But the guys like Wolfman Jack, Casey Kasem,
Yeah.
stood out.
Yeah, yeah.
But even here in Pittsburgh, I mean, you had left.
Yeah.
But Channel 4 had a guy named Paul Long.
I remember Paul
Okay,
Long.
Paul
sure.
Long, Don Cannon, Joe DiNardo, Bill Hillgrove, Ed Conway, or
Paul
Bob
Moyers.
Kudzma.
Paul Moyer used to be on here, and he moved to L.A. and became an anchor there. Paul
Bob
Moyer.
Kudzma,
Yeah.
Sam Nover.
Yeah.
I can go on and on with Channel 4, Channel 11, Channel
Claudia, you
2.
spent a lot of time watching the news.
Well, three channels, but you can.
Yeah,
put
you
them in.
had to watch them all.
Yeah. But nowadays, they move, they leave, and they don't have that thing.
You
that
won't
it
miss them.
factor.
You won't be like, wow, so and
He
so's
left?
gone. I mean, yeah, you're
Yeah,
like,
who's
okay,
that?
they just.
Well, I think too that now, back then that was all we had.
Right.
There were 3 stations you could
Right,
watch,
that's what I'm saying.
and that was it. And now there's so much more. You can get your news from radio, you get it online, you get
Podcasts.
it.
You can get it from
podcasts.
AI.
Fabulous podcasts
Has
like
your
this
business-
one.
Has your business changed?
You hear that? That's how you get points right there.
talent-wise? Has your business changed talent-wise from then to now? And what do you think is better?
Boy, I mean, obviously, you always love what you grow up with, what you get
But if
used
something's
to.
better, it's better. And I don't think anything's better.
Let me ask you, put it this way.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase that because I know where you're going with that, and I know why you won't answer that. Because she might want to work there again, so she don't want to insult
I
you.
get that.
But let me ask you a question. What would you say? Put the technology and the fact that we're saturated with quote entertainment,
So much
saturated with
information,
sports,
yeah.
saturated with news,
everything,
saturated with
yeah.
whatever. What is the biggest difference that makes it different? Putting aside the saturation factor, like for example, okay, so nobody really listens to the radio too much. Okay, they go to podcasts because they want on demand. Okay, but there's a gazillion podcasts, but why are we still going to the same ones? Like, what are they doing? Like, what's different about them, and what was different back then than now? That's why I won't say it's better or worse, but it was different.
Yeah.
I will.
I don't know. I mean, I love a podcast called Hidden Brain with Shankar Vedantam, and he talks about psychological things. Like he'll talk to people about what they went through and how it affected them psychologically, and how we can. And it's all about helping you to understand yourself and understand how you deal with certain situations. I think it's a really interesting podcast. There are tons. I have a nephew who listens to Oh, it's a historical podcast, and I can't think of the name of it right now, and he's going to be so disappointed in me. But he likes listening to it to get an idea of what history was like, and maybe learn some things. I don't know. I like podcasts that where I can teach something or learn something and can be inspired. I love being inspired. And
Like the Talking Business and Life podcast.
and with radio, I think it used to be being entertained. I was on the air in the morning with a couple of guys called Ken and Barkley. It was the Ken and Barkley Company. This was KABC, Los Angeles. It was the early 1990s. And they were so funny. They were just so funny. And you'd tune in because you knew they were going to make you laugh in the morning. And my mom passed away in 1992, and I was on the air with them, and I thought, I will never be able to laugh again. I thought, this is it. I'm done. Never be able to laugh again. And I came back on St. Patrick's Day, which, was one of my mother's favorite holidays, or Saints' Days, because it incorporated saints and luck, and it doesn't get better than that. And I thought, oh God, I can't laugh. And then they started doing these hideous Irish accents. Oh, well, let's talk about this then. And son, how did you do that? And I'm just like, oh my God, you guys. And I started laughing in spite of myself. And I thought, this is what's so important about morning radio. If you've just been through something horrible and you can turn on the radio and have people make you laugh in spite of how awful the thing is that you're going through, then that's a really important job. And I don't know, to me, it's the ability to make people laugh or make people to sit up and learn something. To me, that's what makes a radio show or a podcast really
This is no offense, what you're just saying there.
Sure.
You remember those guys?
Yeah, sure.
Do you remember, I forgot when you came back, but you remember Quinn and Banana in 1982?
Yeah.
Okay, those guys, you still remember them, or Cigna, John Cigna, just his voice.
Reach Cordick. Did you know Reach Cordick? Oh my God, he was so funny.
Or even sports announcers, Jim Simpson, Kurt Gowdy, Howard Cosell.
Yeah.
Who are those guys today is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Who?
But that goes back to my point.
Yeah, they
is
may
it a
have
question of
98 billion
right? Is it
listeners.
saturation that those guys get drowned out in all the noise? But I'll tell you what I also think, though. Back then, you didn't know the political stance most times of the person, because they were just whoever was in charge, they made fun of. And I think now the problem is that I do think politics has ruined a lot of things. It's ruined sports, it's ruined news, it's ruined objectivity, because people have absorbed their political positions into their very fabric. So they make a stand. And if you no matter how funny the joke is, that's my guy, and you can't make fun of Gavin Newsom. I'm going to California because the guy's a slick piece of POS. I'll make fun of him all day long, but that's only because he is who he is.
But she said when she was down, though, and she listened to that show,
but you won't.
Now
but
you get
won't,
more mad,
right? Because exactly my point. Because now they won't make fun of them because they support them. So no matter how crazy the guy is, with the slick back hair. Remember, I lived in California, so I can do
okay. You can
so right. So
he is hot, though. You have to admit, he's
hot.
Come on, he's hot.
I just had to tune into because she believes that. You see, she's going to piss me off right now.
No, I didn't say I was vote for him. I just said he's hot. That's all I'm saying.
But to your point though, the thing is now you won't see that. You won't see the radio announcer say, "I don't care which side or whoever I vote for. I'm going to make fun of him." Yeah, but again, you're so drowned out, or you're labeled, and then you immediately lose half of your audience. That's why
Carson was friends with Reagan. He ripped on him every time.
Yeah, well,
and joked nothing deep.
Right,
and that's why Carson was.
But you know what? Yeah. But a perfect example was, you remember you used to have the roasts, the real roasts, way back when Dean Martin used to do that. Yeah. And they made fun of everybody, and it didn't matter, and everybody laughed. You could not do that now because people are like, but also, you look at late night. Late night used to be the thing. Now, again, do people sit there and watch TV at night? You know what? Yeah. I do, because I don't necessarily want to start a pod or a show or a movie at 10 o'clock. So you know what? I do want to see what's on TV. Yeah. But the sad part is I know that person is going to be so biased. Yeah. that I'm just
You know
not going to
it's
enjoy
coming.
it. I'm just like, I'm not going to enjoy it. So I won't watch it. And they don't understand to lose half their audience.
Yeah,
By the way, I
you're
think
exactly
Johnny Carson made a comment. I think it was him that made the comment about that.
He did. I forgot the exact thing, but you're right. Like with me, I work in baseball. People ask me, like during the All-Star game, you watching the game, the All-Star game? I said, yeah. What do you think of this? No, I'm watching the one from 1977. I really do. I can watch. You know, the past, I don't know how many years, the games I've watched the most, they showed the 60 World Series with Mazur. I watched that. The 79 Pirates, the 71 Pirates. I'll watch those games, and I know there was a play in the game where John Candelaria's no-hitter in 76. Frank Tavares got picked off at first base. I said, oh, damn, Frank. Like it happened now.
Yeah.
Now, I'm grateful to be doing what I'm doing, don't get me wrong, but I can't watch. I only watch a couple innings here and there so I know what I'm talking about whenever I do a show. Can't do it. Music today, can't do it. But that was my question to you. The people who did what you did then, number one, who were your role models? And again, do you think they're as good today as they were then?
You know, it depends upon what you listen to.
Don't worry, no senior Hollywood executives are going to be watching this show, so you're fine. You're safe here.
And they're not longevity either. They don't last as long.
Depends upon what you listen to, you know. If you listen to AM radio, there's there are some stations in Los Angeles that I liked listening to. I used to listen to Coast. I listened to, oh crap, I'm blanking on the name of it now. I loved KABC in the morning. Ken and Barkley were really, really funny.
But who's like that now? That's what I'm asking.
I don't know.
That's what I mean.
I don't think there is
Who's
anything.
similar?
I don't.
And you know, the
think there
premise is when you
anything.
look at some of the more popular podcasts, they're all like quasi-serious, and you're like, man, I want to be entertained.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
once in a while, I want to be to your point. I want to be able to laugh.
Yeah.
At whatever's going on.
Or
And-
what
and
she
right.
said, inspired something instead of just.
Well, that's a way of talking business and language class. Steve Mancini for. But I mean, I do want to be just driving to work and have my brain turn off and just entertain
and just
me.
laugh
Right.
and just be entertained. I know. There's not much.
All right,
There's
Fran,
not much.
we,
What?
we are nowhere near wrapping up. But thank you
Good.
for coming. No, let's talk
Good,
about.
because we
Let's
have to
talk
talk
about.
about my
We're going to
book,
talk
for
about the
God's
book.
sake,
We're
my
going to talk
book.
about the book now. All right, we're going back to Fran, and she's going to talk about the inspiration for the book. You're going to show us the tag that's on the cover.
I will.
You didn't show
I
us that,
will, I
and then you're
know.
going to tell us all about the book.
Okay, I will.
Look at
I
that.
Will. Well,
Wow.
this is the tag that my mother wore when she was a contestant on The Price is Right.
Do they
Do you
actually
have the
write
video
their
of that?
name in, or does she
I
write
do.
her name in?
I have the video, and that's something that I need. No, they write your name. My mother could have never written this. But she kept that, and I just discovered that a few months ago, so I was thrilled. And we incorporated that into the cover on the book. My daughter did the cover. Thank you, Milena. You did a great job. But when I was a kid, a very young person, you grow up and you think, oh, my mother's the greatest thing ever. My parents are wonderful. And then you become a teenager and you're like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. My mother has a thick Italian accent. My mother, forces people to eat when they don't want to. My mother will look at you and say, what's your name? What do you do? What do your parents do? Are they Italian? She was just so direct. She would, anyway. And if a boy came to the house, oh God help me. Yeah, it was scary. She once told.
Who is this Claudio guy?
Yeah, I heard that a few times.
She'd sit across from them.
From my own mother.
She'd sit across from them, and they'd be eating, and she'd be looking at them.
Is that a serious look on her face?
This is kind of a serious.
Push that up
look
to the
on her
camera
face.
so we can. Let's push that up to
Okay.
there. There you go.
And
That's an angry woman right
and,
there.
and she's looking at the guy who I eventually married, and she's going, Roger. And I didn't know she was looking at him that closely. She's, how come you got those two little white marks on your teeth? Because he had a couple of, people sometimes get little white spots
right.
on their teeth.
I was like, what is he talking
Oh my
about?
God, she's really examining him. And he was
Well, my grandchildren are going to have a spot on their teeth too.
he said, I don't know, maybe a fever. I don't know when I was a kid. But yeah, so anyway, I used to be very embarrassed by her. But sometime around 18, I was around 18 years old, and I said, you know what? There must be a reason I was given her. Nobody else got a mother like this. My mother was not like any other mother out there. And I make jokes in the book that she might have been a medieval time traveler. I wasn't sure. But she was just so different. And I at some point when I was right around 30, I started writing things down because I thought, my mother loves salami and bacon and cheese and prosciutto and all these things that are not good for you.
Well,
Way too
actually,
much.
well, let's say take out the salt. They're actually not so bad for you considering what's in food now.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's very true. But I knew, plus she was very overweight, and I knew she was not long for this world. And so I started writing things down because I thought, if I ever have children, which she said, when are you going to have a kid? So when I'm dead, And I said, no, Ma, eventually I will. And I ended up having my first child at 36 because I put it off as long as possible. But I knew that she might not be around long, and she died 5 months after my first child was born. Wow. Yeah. So I'm glad.
So at least she got to hold her grandson.
Yeah. I'm glad that and of course it had to be a son. God forbid if the first one was a girl, she would not have been happy. So, yeah, there's a whole thing in the book about that. But I just really wanted my kids to know her. And so I've been telling stories about her for ages, and I wrote all this stuff down. And my one friend got sick of me talking about it and said, for God's sake, Fran, just do a blog. If nothing else, do a blog. So in 2011, I started writing a blog. And I still do the blog, and I just had a lot of stories about my mom. And there are quite a few stories in here that are from the blog that were already. So it's like I wrote the stories, then I wrote the blog, and then I wrote the book, and I changed a lot of things back and forth and back and forth.
Otherwise, I'm not going to buy your book. I'm just going to read the blog.
Don't read the blog.
So don't just read the blog. She's changed it.
No, there's
it's good.
a lot
Trust
of
me.
stuff
Buy the
that's
book.
different.
I actually read the book.
I hope you did.
No, I did. Thank
How were
you.
your friends
That was
with your
wonderful.
parents?
Oh, you know what? My friends learned to love my parents. But my mom. Let's give just a few props to my dad. God bless him. He was truly one of the world's kindest, nicest, most patient men ever. Because you kind of had to be with my mother. But just a sweetheart of a man. My kids loved my mom. My friends loved my mom. She was funny. A friend came over once, and my mother had a stack of tarot cards. Is that how you say tarot? Tarot cards. And she's reading, and she's, let me do your fortune. I like this. This is fun. And she puts them all out, and she lays them down, and she goes, I don't like this. Let's do it again. So my friend went, okay, all right. And, she was such a character.
Like death.
Yeah.
No.
What part of your dad is you? What part of your mom is you? Or what did you take?
I have my father's patience, his ability to sit in the background and make smart-ass comments. And nobody would know it was me. I would be even in class, I'd be the person in the back of the room, the quiet, seemingly nice person who would just sit there and just say stuff, and everybody around you would laugh. But oh no, it wasn't me. So he was very funny, but he was quiet about it. And then the part of my mother is, of course, the more outgoing side. I know you can't tell, can you?
It's a good thing.
Yeah,
well, you kind of have to be if you're going to be in LA.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
You can't be an introvert there.
Yeah, no. And and you learn that it doesn't do you any good. Being shy, I mean, that's kind of sweet, but it doesn't do you any good. So.
Well, let me ask you about that because, believe it or not, I'm a shy person.
Are you?
Oh, I am.
I started out shy.
I am.
Yes, I did.
I told people, I said I did the Briggs-Myers, and you're like an INT.
Oh, did you?
And so I'm an I, introvert, which doesn't necessarily mean shy,
Yeah.
but it means you're content. You can be content to be alone. Is really what that means. You're introverted, meaning I can be fine by myself.
True success in life is being in a room by yourself and enjoying the company.
I'm the smartest man in the room when that happens. But the point, though, is getting on a stage is not something that most people, 99% people, can do naturally. So you were outgoing, but was there anything that you had to really work on to get comfortable being, realistically, public voice?
Yeah, I mean, when I was on the radio with Charlie Tunno, we would go to events and he'd point me out. There's Fran, and I was just like, oh God, no, And
Fixing
then
the hair.
Yeah, and then I realized after being on the radio for a while that it's entertainment. This is entertainment. These people are here to be entertained. So you either step up or you're going to be ignored. And I thought, well, this is ridiculous. Why am I being so shy? They're here to see us. They're here to be entertained. So entertain them.
And that's a question. Kids
Yeah.
today,
Yeah.
they are, whether you're shy, I kind of like Steve. I don't want to say I'm shy, but do you find kids today are not as vocal, not as I don't know if articulate's the right word. I don't know. I mean, are they? Do they stand out? Do they say, "Hello, Steve, how are you?" Or do they say, "Hello, Steve, how are you?" You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say?
It depends upon the kid. I think
In general.
In general, I hate to just lump everybody into one basket. I mean, the kids who I know.
Listen, I want to know right now, right or left? Which are you? No.
The kids who I know, and I know young people who are, in their early 20s. I know I've got a nephew who's 16 and a niece who just turned 11. They're friendly and outgoing, and they'll talk to you. So my experience has been that no, I mean, if you raise your kids the right way, they're going to interact with people, and they're going to be okay.
Do you speak Italian at all?
I parlo un po' di italiano, ma non parlo bene.
See, I spoke to my mom. My mom spoke to me in Italian.
Oh, yeah.
I spoke to her in English.
Yeah.
So again, I helped her with
Oh,
her English.
yeah, that's great.
And my dad was
Yeah.
here since he was 8, so he didn't speak broken English. So I don't. But I have some friends whose parents did, and they still have a twinge of a accent.
Yeah. My parents would not teach us Italian because my father fought in World War II, and there were internment camps, and there were reasons to not have your children appear to be anything other than American.
We did a show one time
yeah.
with a lady.
Yeah.
With Italian Impact, and we always ask the question, "Where's your family from in Italy?" Just to get out of the way.
Sure.
So I think it was me that asked her. So where's your family from in Italy? Oh, my dad did not like being Italian, so we never talked about being Italian. So like the
really?
rest of the, how about those Mets? I mean, we didn't know what else to ask her.
That's pretty much what
This
happens.
is the Italian impact.
At the time, that's what it was called.
Yeah.
Steve looked at me like, now what?
That's so funny. Yeah,
But we made it through.
Yeah, well, my father's family got split up. My grandfather came here in 1929, right before the stock market crash. He brought my father and my Uncle Fred. They were the first two, and he was planning on bringing, the rest of the family, a couple at a time, until they could all be here. But after the stock market crash, it was so bad that they didn't have enough money, so... Yeah, it was kind of sad because my father had 4 siblings still in Italy, and I just entertained the daughter of my first cousin for about a month. She was here, dealing with green card stuff, and it was wonderful. I mean, I love the fact that she loves America. She'd love to be here, and all she needs to do is just get a job, and
They went through
she'd
hell.
be back.
They went through hell.
They did,
When they got here, they weren't treated well. They worked.
Yeah.
And it was a tough time. And sometimes, like, whenever I complain, I said, what am I complaining? My grandfather came here when he was 15 by himself.
Yeah, my dad came 14, but he wasn't by himself.
Can you imagine that? I was just telling my wife this morning, when my grandmother passed, my dad took his 2 young brothers. He was only 18. He quit school, took care of his brothers. He went to Italy. As an 18-year-old, my uncle used to say his hands were sore because my dad was like a vice, wouldn't let go of his hand.
Yeah.
But they were mature. They grew up quick because they had to.
Yeah.
Different times.
Yeah, boy. What about you?
I don't have any interesting stories. I'm a very boring person. By the way, I've got your cough in the studio now.
I was thinking that.
No,
when
I
we
got
were-
the cough.
Oh no!
You know what,
There's
though?
a cough. Am I going to get the
No,
cough?
no.
Okay.
You're
We did a show
safe.
Okay.
A couple years ago at this other studio, and we did this show with Smokey Robinson's business manager.
Oh,
Italian guy
wow.
named Bob Bazzelli, great guy.
How cool!
I thought I was dying. So like all these damn shows, I was losing my voice. I'm coughing. I'm sneezing, and even I started doing that here. Although today I really haven't done it too much.
No, I'm doing it for
Steve's
you.
doing it.
I
I've
haven't
coughed
heard
like
it
3
at all.
times. You haven't heard me cough? I'm trying to mute myself. And the problem is it's picking up by your microphones. That's, folks, today it's me. It's me. But, Fran,
Yes,
we're done.
This was
we're
quick.
done. That was it.
We're good. That's what she said.
Where can people get your book?
One more plug for come on down, please,
And
please,
your
please.
website. And your
Come on down. My website is frantunno.com.
Wait a minute. I got to ask that.
Oh, okay.
Hold
all
on.
right.
So, Fran, tell us, where can folks get a hold of you? All right, now you do your plug.
Okay, you can buy the book at any of the major websites. You know, obviously Amazon, Barnes and Noble. I think Walmart sells it. You know, a lot of places. You can go to my frantunno.com website, and there are links there. And there's also at franstable.com, which is my blog, and you'll find all kinds of stuff there too. Lots more recipes there too.
Would you like to hold up one of the banana nut breads you made?
We
got to do this.
All right, so hold on. Now this is the God. It's all wrapped up though. You can't really see it.
That's
and it's all
okay.
This is the zucchini bread that I made and I brought in.
Zucchini. That's a banana
zucchini.
nut.
Well,
That's
you know,
right.
I do have a banana nut bread
Oh,
here
mamma mia.
with chocolate chips.
She's like,
because one
God, yo,
wasn't
Steve,
enough.
you gotta eat,
Yeah,
right? And now you eat all of this,
fine,
right? And now
John.
you don't like my food?
That's right. What's the matter with you? You better eat this. I brought it all the way here.
She brought the spatulas.
It's a
Look at that.
beautiful,
Oh, that looks
see?
good. It looks moist.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
honey,
it better be.
come
It better
on.
be.
Yeah, I don't fool around.
Hey-o.
I sprinkled the top with cinnamon sugar, and it's quite good if I say so myself, and I do.
Well, you better say so. It's your food. But anyways, Fran, give us some final thoughts.
Oh, God, final thoughts. You know what? With Mother's Day coming up, should I be looking right here, right
Sure.
there? Yeah. With Mother's Day coming up, I think it's really important to salute the women who brought us into this world and could take us out. But I think it's really important to look back. If your mother's no longer with you, you know, think back on all the wonderful things that she did and just appreciate her for doing the best job that she possibly could given the circumstances. And that's why I'm telling you.
One more time.
This is the book to read, because if you've got a mom or you've got somebody who has a character for a mom, whether you're Italian or you're Irish or you're Croatian or whatever, this book will resonate with you, and you'll probably laugh at some of the things.
And I'm sure it'll make a lovely Mother's Day gift.
Oh,
or
it
a lovely
would.
gift for your
Yes.
daughter. But
It's
no,
pretty funny if I say so
absolutely
myself.
recommend it. And I couldn't say that better. That was very nice words of wisdom. So with that being said, though, I always turn it over to Claudio to lead me away because I'm a nice guy.
Steve, thank you as always. We appreciate the listeners. Steve, I appreciate you. You were great on
Thank you.
You radiate.
Apparently,
Vocally.
Fran has done this before, so I'm just kind of,
It was great having you on.
Well, you guys are wonderful. Thank you.
And as always, thank you, Mom and Pop. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to Talking Business and Life with Claudio Relsano and Steve Mancini. Tune in next week for more impactful business and life experiences with Claudio and Steve.